Hey everyone, welcome back. Next up we have this 1997 single cab GMC Sierra. The customer has already started it and has brought it to me to finish it. It's already set up. Everything in the rear is tacked in. The front is welded some and not finished up. Anything I see that I want to cut out and replace weld-wise, I will. But we're gonna go ahead and finish up the front. The tubs are already in. I've already seen a few spots. It's not bad at all, but there's a few spots that I can see daylight through that I'll just have to go in and hit a couple spots and finish that up. But I'm here to clean it up and finish it up. The firewall fuse or the plug connector is right here. They've already cut it out. I'll clean it up a little bit. We'll get it prepped up and then we'll cut out and move it over, fill in the space. I'll check to see if anything needs to be finished up. They've got the tie rod notches in. I'll need to check to see if I need to clean or add anything. They've already got the uppers raised. The bag, looks like the bag notch is already done. I don't like that squareness. So if I have to, I'll add a radius piece and weld it in there. They've already relocated, or not recessed, the shock mounts they got. And you can see they're welded in some. And then there are a gap. So I will add a piece in there, clean that up. Let's see back there how that gap is. I'll have to get a light in here. We'll get the wheels off, out of the way. I'm gonna start and get everything done on the front first. Then we'll move to the back. The back is all just tacked in. There's a few spots that are welded, like that bar. I'll end up probably cutting that bar out, cleaning it up. Now that everything's tacked in, I'll take that bar out, like I said, clean up everything, fully weld that bar off of the truck. The bag mounts, the shock mounts, those will stay. I'll mark where that bar goes, or we'll just set it back into place, leave the brackets on, and then just set it in place to tack it back into place, and then fully weld it. I'm also gonna be putting in the tubs and doing a raised bed floor on this. We'll get into detail later when we get closer to doing it. We've already got, the customer already has the bags, the shocks for the front, and then some air line. We'll get into air management and all that when we get further along, and if I'm doing that. As of right now, like I said, we're just gonna clean up the front, finish the front, fully weld everything. We'll cut out any welds that I feel need redone, and then I'll re-weld it. Then we'll get the front done. So first, I'll go ahead and get the front wheels off, and then we'll dive into whether and what we need to take off, whether we need to take the suspension apart. I believe, if I remember correctly, I need to weld, I need to weld that tab back onto the lower, and I'm gonna add a gusset to the front up here and the back, and I'll do it to both arms, both lowers. That way they're nice and secure and it won't happen again. You can see right there, I'll have to weld that. Like I said, also that, I'll have to maybe add a radius to that one and that corner, or cut it out more, we'll see. And as you can as you can see, I've already said they did the tie rod notches.
I don't like the opening in that tie rod notch, so we'll either add material, more than likely. I'll add a little piece in there. But,
I'll make sure that tool stays there, or I'll set it inside the truck for the customer. That looks like that traveled here with it because it's not mine. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now everything is out. I can get a better look at it, and now I can access everything. Before I clean any of this up to start welding, I'm gonna do the lower control arm. That tab, I'm gonna tack on. First, I'll clean up what I can. There's some material at the bottom. I'm gonna line it up. I'll clean it up on each edge, and on the back, there's only a little bit welded, so I have room. Or I'll mark it, clamp it in place, figure out what angle it needs to be at, and then go from there. But this is the first item on the list. The other one just needs cleaned up. I'm gonna cut all this out, and then I'll re-weld. On the back side, they welded multiple passes, and that's good enough for me. So like I said, I'll cut this out, and we'll put a nice fat good weld on there. And then once these two are corrected, I can mark them off my mental list, and then we'll go in here and start using the wire wheel and whatever else we need to cut any of these welds off to replace them. And once we get the frame situated, then we'll start working on the firewall on the tubs. Got the lowers cleaned up and fully welded. Cut out some of the other stuff, bits and pieces of it everywhere, but got it fully welded up. All the way around, the tabs, both sides. We'll let them cool and let them be. Then we'll go ahead and move on to cleaning up underneath here. I've got some scrap rod I need to clean up, make it nice and shiny all the way around. We've already made the edges of this shiny, as well as the lip. This is gonna go, you can see that gap back there. I can either put this piece underneath, or I'm pretty much just gonna slap that right there. I'll clean the frame up all the way around. I'll weld that all the way around there, and then we'll start doing some cleanup. I'll weld both of these plates in. I'll clean up back there. And then that big old gap right there, that's what I got some of this for. This right here, I'll cut a piece off of there. We'll do it there. And then like I said, I'll cut it off down there. And then we'll open this up just a little bit, be able to put a piece down there. And then we'll clean up that weld off of there. Grind these as small as possible, clean the frame up. Like I said, then we'll start cutting what I want to cut out. I'm going to cut that one out. Not sure about that one. I can't get in there to cut those out. So I may just take my wire speed, turn it down, and just cook his wire in there a little hotter if it needs to be. Same with this side. This side, I'm gonna leave this. I can't really get in there. That right there, I may gouge out some and run a little past there. This one's already done. He's already done there. This one is fine. I'm not gonna mess with that one. I need to clean up down here some. I don't like that sticking out. That needs cleaned up. Like I said, a lot of cleanup, finishing. This, I need to finish welding, clean out some of these tacks and go ahead and weld that in. Some of it you'll see, some of it you're just gonna be back here watching me do stuff. And hey, if you're interested in watching all the stuff I got going on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, ring that bell. That way you get notified on updates of this and other things coming in and out of here. We haven't talked about this yet. We will eventually. Now that everything that I feel is welded up, you can see the burn on the back side of there. Look at that heat transfer. So now I have everything welded, cleaned up there, welded in that plate, that little piece right there I told you I was gonna weld. Welded that solid, welded that solid. You can see back there, I threw a weld in, welded that there. Threw the plates in, welded all the way around where that gap was, welded to there. Didn't have to do anything on the back side. You can see where I welded there and there. And again, you can see where I threw some welds there. On the end here, I wrapped it. You wanna wrap your welds. So when you go to do it, you don't just stop at the end, you go all the way down and wrap it around that corner. I didn't really have to clean up that one. Those are pretty decent. This one right here, can't really get into, and I just filled some spots that needed filled. Same with right there. Fully welded this up for them. And on the bottom side, all the way down on both of them. The only thing left on the frame, which we'll do after I finish up the firewall for them, is I'm not sure if I like the sharp angles. We might put a little curved gusset in there, weld that in solid where it's rounded there. That's potentially a stress spot. You shouldn't have sharp angles. That should be curved. So like I said, we'll go ahead and get on finishing these tubs, and then we'll cut out that right there so we can go ahead and clean this up and get this put in here. That's to relocate the wiring. Normally it's down here, and as you see, the tub's in the way. That's why you relocate that, is so you can tub it. So it'll get brought up to here, to the top of the wheel, and that way it'll be above the tub as well. So when you go to tub the fenders and match this radius, you'll have room. So, like I said, and inside on these tubs, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I noticed this when I went ahead and opened it up from the inside. I could stick my finger, not all the way through, but there's a little hole right there still. And you can see inside, I'll show you the trick. You come in here and you can see the light. That's where it needs filled more. All those lights need sealed up, and then the inside needs seam sealed. So we'll go ahead and get that all figured out. Once I get the firewall done, then I'll slap all this back together, get the front wheels on. Bolt the bags in, bolt the front shocks in, and then be done with the front. Moving right along on this firewall. As you saw, we cleaned up that passenger side and moved on to the driver's side. Went ahead and relocated that piece that we were talking about relocating, added a filler, and welded it up. So next we need to go ahead and clean it up and see if there's any spots we've missed. And then once both tubs are how we like them, or I like them, and are satisfied with them, then I'll go ahead and smooth everything down and prep it for primer, and we will seam seal the inside. Once we get that firewall completed, primed, seam sealed, and then we'll move on to cleaning up the frame. We'll set the bags in and we'll see how that clearance looks. From this angle right here, that corner will definitely have to be filled to make that angle continue with it. And then, like I keep saying, I'm gonna put little radius pieces in there to strengthen that up. On both sides, we'll make sure the clearance is correct with the bags. This customer's using Dominators. Those bags are a little bigger than the slams I usually use, but we'll still air them up all the way and make sure that there are 1 to 2 fingers of clearance. Hey, just a friendly reminder, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell. Comment, share, and like this video. Let's get this algorithm going. Let's get my content out there to everybody we know. Both sides metal finished, and then a few rounds of mud. That way it's nice and smooth. You see a little bit of metal right there, but the transitions are smooth. They'll flow nicely, both sides. I'll need to wipe them down, and then I can go ahead and prime them. Already masked off everything, even the frame. That way when I go to spray down in there, nothing will get hit. Then after we go ahead and prime those, while we're letting those dry, I'll go ahead and place the bags in, and we'll see if we need to weld in those corners. We'll get both sides finished up, and then we can reassemble that front end. I'm not sure if the customer's having the frame powder coated or painted, but I believe they're gonna do that on their end. Now that the bags are in, they're just bolted in temporarily. The customer wants me to swap out the fittings that are on those bags to some SMC push fittings that I currently have. So we'll go ahead and swap those out once they come back out after mock-up. Next, I need to fully compress them bags and then check fitment around the frame. Both sides are primed, prepped. I need to seam seal the inside of the firewall, and I'll do that after I get all the frame and everything figured out. This one as well, I need to bring that all the way up. It looks like I may just cut that little hump out of there, but we'll see. The customer already plated and reinforced in there, but if I have to cut it out, I will. So like I said, just like with the other one, I need to compress this and check to make sure there's enough clearance around the bag and the frame. Once that's done, we can reassemble everything in the front end, and the front end's done. Get the wheels on. Not sure if, like I said before, if he wants me to paint the frame or leave it bare for him. Then we can move on to the back. But that's gonna be in the next video. That's all for this one. So keep a lookout for the continuation of this mini series of getting this truck completed. Once we move to the back, we need to cycle everything through, make sure everything works. Then I can weld everything fully in the rear. Then we'll move on to raising that bed. As I always say, everyone, thanks for watching.